Hello and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Ericka English, Senior Director of Marketing and Communications for Volunteers of America, Texas. Joining us today is Stephanie Jerez Rodriguez. She's the Programs Operation Manager for VOA Texas, and also Taylor Galvin, who is the Employment Specialist for the VOA Texas Dallas Pathways Program. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, before we get started and into the conversation, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Niagara Conservation. Niagara provides energy efficient toilets for our affordable housing programs, in particular the Oaks, which is in the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas, Texas. So thank you guys for joining us today.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for having us today.
So Stephanie, tell us a little bit again about what you do for Volunteers of America, Texas.
Yes, so as a program operations manager, I basically help start grants and projects that we have funded recently. So one of the biggest examples or one of the biggest projects that I first started as a program operations manager is getting a replica or a duplicate of the Financial Opportunity Center that we have successfully been in programming for a long time in Houston, and getting that started over here in Dallas and in the DFW area. So the city of Dallas has funded us with the City of Dallas Pathways for reentry and workforce-related employment opportunities for people who have been impacted by the justice system, and I help start off that grant and get it up and running.
And like you said, we've had the Financial Opportunity Center down in Houston for years, and it's been wildly successful down in Harris County. Taylor, you're new to the team, sort of, at this point. Tell us how's it been coming on, and tell us what career paths are available through the Pathways program.
It's been a whirlwind of excitement coming into the program. It's been exciting watching it grow, expand, building it from scratch, and watching it become what it is. There are many different pathways available to our clients. We have IT programs for security, the ones who do qualify for security type of IT jobs. We have culinary certifications available. These are certification programs as opposed to bachelor's or associate degree programs. We have different things, business management, a lot of people who want to take charge of their careers based off of their backgrounds or their situations. It's important to them to be able to be in more leadership roles and take control of the skills that they already have obtained throughout their lifetime.
And that's great, because we don't just want people to walk away with a job. We want them to walk away with careers and skill sets that they can build on for years to come. Can you identify or just talk about a few of the clients that you've come across and what stands out to you the most about them?
I've had a lot of entrepreneurial type of clients. I've had one lady in particular just recently who got a job at AT&T. She's working in Richardson as one of the sales representatives. She's been doing well. She's on her second month. It's a well-paying job, well above the amount that was set for the minimum of how much the expectation is for them to make, and she's happy. She's unfortunately she couldn't come to the program today because she's at work, but she's doing well.
That's a good reason to miss the program. And, you know, I like the emphasis also on justice impacted people, because so many people have worked really hard to alleviate the mandate to check that box, and what the stigma that it brings to have to check the box. Kind of expand on that and maybe some of the challenges that justice impacted people have had just looking for a job.
The backgrounds, there's always, for jobs, we all have to have the background check, so that is definitely the stipulation. So what I've done to compromise is make sure to market for these people. It's not about just building those relationships and partnerships with the client, but also go into businesses, you know, becoming a reputable individual within the community. Like, I have people who have the skills that you need for your position. I mean, there are background requirements, but what I'm learning is that it's a lot of a one-on-one case-by-case situations, and that does make it a little bit easier when they do have those type of ways to kind of make the decision on their own instead of just strict rules. And that seems to be very common, I guess, post-COVID, of having a little bit more of that case-by-case situation, but that has been a little bit of the restriction in the backgrounds.
And you bring up an interesting point, because a case-by-case basis, it means that we have to do true case management, right? All these wraparound services that we may be able to provide, we can't we won't know about them unless we do true case management. So just kind of explain to people what that means.
True case management will require just digging into their background, what type of things they need, like being able to provide them different resources, because just providing a job isn't enough. You have to be able to make sure there's transportation needs being met. Food, there's a lot of people who don't have the food for they get that job, you know, you help them with bus passes, they might not have food for lunch, or they might not have food for their family. There's childcare in situations where, you know, you have to go back and make sure, like, okay, well, do I have a contact, or are there some resources in the community? Sometimes you do have to step back doing true case management to see, okay, is this really feasible for them to get this job? It's a great job, makes a lot of money, but in this current situation with the current limited resources, is this really realistic based off of where this client is at this point in time? And so in order to do true case management, I think it requires being able to look around, provide those wraparound services, have those partnerships in the community to ensure that what they need or what they want, even right now when we go over SMART goals, when we talk about what the future looks like, is realistic in that moment.
Yeah, that's a great way to set them up for success. Now, Stephanie, how has the employment landscape kind of changed since COVID? Taylor mentioned our pandemic, our recent pandemic. So just kind of explain what has changed over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to emphasize that there has been a big impact and a lot of follow through from a lot of different agencies, federal government, even local government, wanting to fund this type of population and this type of work that we're doing. They really want to provide education resources and provide the credentialing, and so the increase of funding has really been tremendous over the last few years, even though the landscape of the industry has changed in the sense that it has become more remote and more customer serving in the sense, but there have been a lot of opportunities and that a lot of our clients have been able to take and make fit for their own individual cases. But at the same time, the funding that's allowed for these types of programs to bring the wraparound services that the Dallas Pathways program and our new program provide has really been emphasized by a lot of different grant funding opportunities, and we have been able to get a lot of different partnerships who have been on board and trying to impact that specific population of justice impacted individuals and trying to provide them those wraparound services in these new industries. An example of a type of different jobs that the federal government or even different types of funding pools have brought are more green jobs, or jobs that emphasize a more impactful opportunities or more impact on climate change.
I heard the term green jobs a lot over the past few years,
Yes.
right? I'm thinking the auto industry mainly, but I was going to mention certainly there's room for everyone, right? Other organizations in this space who provide the same types of service because the need is so great. So if there are other organizations who are watching and wondering, where can I go to get this information on these funding streams, where might they look?
So it's really important that you check even your local small business centers where they provide a lot of your loans and granting opportunities. So this specific grant that we have through the City of Dallas is from the Small Business Administration. And they provide a lot of resources, not only to different nonprofits, but to the community members and citizens themselves to further improve and become more self-sufficient in whatever endeavors that they have. A lot of other resources come from the state government, from Health and Human Services. They provide a lot of granting opportunities that are employment or health related that impact the lives of the people that we're serving. And then finally, big on the especially with the population that we serve, the reentry population that we serve, the Bureau of Justice Administration has been a big resource, as well as the Department of Labor. We have a lot of, or we have a grant through the Department of Labor for our homeless individuals who are getting back and getting reintegrated into our community.
I'm glad you mentioned those other populations, because certainly we focused a lot on justice impacted people today, but we know that VOA does so much more and reaches so many other vulnerable populations. So if you can just kind of expand on some of the other populations we serve in the realm of workforce.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest ones that we have in DFW is for our veterans who are experiencing homelessness. We have our Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program, or HVRP, and that has really started, I think, in 2017 and has progressed. We had it in Houston and we also have it here in DFW. And a lot of our programming and fundamentals of the Dallas Pathways programs come from the HVRP program, because we've been serving that population for a little bit longer. But we also serve the reentry population in other services and other service areas. So we include our halfway houses, where we provide reintegration services. They also include job readiness and financial literacy classes there, as well as the job placements and the just reentry case management that is very important for them, as well as substance use treatment, where we serve a multitude of different types of clients, get back and get ready to really become active members of the community.
Either one of you can answer this question, but what's the goal? Do you guys have a target goal of how many people you plan to serve over a number of years?
So the target goal really for the City of Dallas Pathways program is over 2 years we impact 60 individuals, so 30 over each year, and that is with placing them and giving them impactful, meaningful career pathways, not just a job. And that I think we've been doing really well. We started kind of late in the game in 2022, but so far we've impacted about 30 or 31 individuals with job placements and job opportunities. And the goal really is to reduce recidivism, to help them not go back into the old habits and break that cycle of poverty that we really hear about and talk about a lot. And then really have a purpose in life, and not just a job or employment, but a career that they can move upward and have upward mobility.
So on the personal front, Taylor, how has it been for you personally to see people achieve these goals and to go off and start on these career paths and opportunities they may not have had otherwise?
It's been great. I've noticed there's been a lot of word of mouth going on, which is always a good sign. You know, you can really tell how much impact you have based off of what's going on in those communities. Like if people are talking, not necessarily the case managers at the bridge, but if there's talk amongst themselves in different circles or different spaces, that's when you really know that there has been someone who has been positively affected. So it's definitely been good. I can say on my end, as far as recidivism, you know, with the intensive case management, I haven't had anyone go back, which is a good sign that things are happening, that things are moving, that hope is there. Even if we aren't exactly where we want to be, you know, at the time, there is movement happening to get to where they need to be.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about quality, right? Not just quantity. We want, even if it's just a few people, we want them to go through the program and really have such an impact that they stick with these careers. And like you said, never go back to prison.
Right.
So thank you both for joining me today. It's been awesome just to dig a little bit deeper into the Dallas Pathways program and figure out some of the things that you do, Stephanie, on our program's operations side. It's been a great conversation, and I hope to have you guys back here soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.